Hey everybody, it's GometX and welcome back to another Momir's Madness. So I've done a system reboot on my computer, so for various reasons. So I've had to reboot everything up and redo settings and all that, so audio might be a little bit weird, but I will double check before I upload this one. It should be better than last time at least. A lot of stuff was messing up last time. But back to the relevant stuff at hand, we are playing more Momir. For anyone who doesn't know, Momir is the format where I get to spend X mana to get a random creature that costs X mana. It is a very luck-based, random format where things go crazy. The only thing you have to worry about is creature combat in the format, no instants, sorceries, enchantments, planeswalkers, anything like that. Just play random creatures, see who gets the better ones and who plays them better, and you go from there. So I'm going to start at 2 mana, because 1 mana stuff's not great. We've got a Doomed Dissenter, and they have a Sparring Construct. Not super happy with a Doomed Dissenter as my 2-drop, but it's alright. Wanted Scoundrels is actually really not the kind of card you want to hit in Momir. So this is a 4/3. When it dies, their opponent gets 2 treasure. So I get 2 treasure, which means if I have that die in combat, which it'll have 4 toughness now, but I'll just trade this 2/2 and whatever I get next. If I have that die in combat, I'll get 2 treasure and I'll be able to skip straight up to 6 mana next turn. Of course, treasure, they add 1 mana, they only do it once, and then you have to sacrifice them. So, it's not like an insane swing, but the fact that I'll have a 6 mana creature out when they're still making 4 mana stuff is probably going to be pretty good. This Everdon champion here looks like it'll be really good in Momir. Prevent all combat damage that'll be dealt to it. That's going to be really hard to deal with because combat is the primary aspect of Momir by far. This can just block any kind of massive attacker and survive, so I think it's pretty good. I would not be attacking with my Scoundrels if I were them. I would be, like, if they attack, then they trade their 5/4 for a single 2/2 zombie. And I also get 2 treasure tokens. So I guess they didn't read my guy's ability, or they're just new to the game, they don't know about double blocking, or they just don't value their wanted Scoundrels as much as I think they should. Either way, I think this is a really good combat for us. I get to have some treasure tokens, I get rid of their giant dude. This is a win-win for me. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and do 6 mana. The only problem with 6 mana cards is that there's a 5%, or not 5, but like there's like a 2% chance that you die immediately. Because Demon Lord Bells and Lock has an enter the battlefield effect that basically just says you lose. So we got Vivectus Asmati, which is really hard to beat. Whenever it attacks, I get to have my opponent sacrifice their best creature, and I can just sacrifice my worst card, be that a land or a small creature, and then we both just get a land instead. So yeah, Vivectus is very, very good in Momir. I probably should have attacked last turn. I think I was still just in the mindset of Everdon Champion is just the best blocker ever. So I was still in that mindset of, let's just leave this guy back because it can block anything. But I don't need it to block. I have a 6/6. I'll be fine. Opponent is going to time here. They might be multitasking or something. There's not much complex going on in the game right now. They just gotta play land, play the best 4-mana card they possibly can. Just hope for something awesome. If not, they're just gonna die. Looks like they're going to time, so opponent is very dead. I will go ahead and play a 5-mana card. Discard, actually a forest. Got a sentinel. I'm going to pick that, and then I'm going to decline to do that, because if I do it, then my guy will just die. I'm going to swing in. I'll actually just get rid of this 3/3 to get another land, and I don't care if they block. I'll just get rid of their mountain. The reason I'm doing that is so that I don't ramp them up mana, because it'll be easier for them to get something as big as this Vivectus, or something to kill it, if they can get to higher mana. So I'm just going to let myself ramp and let them not ramp. But I guess Vivectus is really, really hard to beat, because even if they get something big enough to block it, Vivectus can kill it when it declares the attack, so it doesn't even have to worry about that. I think my opponent just rage quit, but they didn't scoop, they just straight up left. Because that is the second time that they've went to time on the hourglass. Yep, well, I think we got our first opponent to just rage quit, so there goes one game of Momir. May just take longer to actually win. There we go. That was their third time timing out, which I think just means that they lose. The program just makes them concede at that point. Alright, well, we are 1 win in. So definitely a good record to start off with. It's definitely much better than the alternative. I wonder if there's a way to tie in Momir. I'm actually not sure. You can definitely tie in regular Magic, because there could be something that deals... Oh, I guess you can tie in Momir. You could both get to like 3 life, and then you can get the 5-mana 7/3 that does 3 damage to each player. So yeah, you can tie in Momir as well. I wonder if anyone has ever tied in Magic Arena Momir. Because the odds are not very high, but it's possible. Actually, now that I think about it, I bet that someone has tied, but not the regular way, probably just because some kind of glitch during the beta or something like that. Like, I honestly think that's probably more likely than someone naturally tying in Momir, as that just, there's some kind of glitch. So I went ahead and attacked there because trading my 2/2 that doesn't have any abilities for their 2/2 with lifelink is completely okay with me. And then the reason they blocked is because their 2/2 lifelink wasn't really doing much on the board anyway, because I had a 3/3 out to block it, so it wasn't going to attack me. Okay. Interesting choice from the opponent. They got a 0/1 that clones one of their creatures whenever it attacks. And they only had a 0/1 out, so when attacking they could really just choose a 0/1. So I just blocked their 0/1 with my 3/3 and killed it, so that was pretty good. My opponent just said good game, so that's why I was talking a little slow there. I was kind of confused. I'm like, what? I guess they were just talking about the 0/1 thing. That's when you say oops. So I am milling those lands just in case I hit a Multani. I feel like the odds of hitting Multani are more likely than the odds of you getting milled out ever in Momir. The only thing that will mill you is like Fleet Swallower, and that just never gets to attack more than once. And if it attacks once, then you still have like 20 cards left in your deck. So then the game has to take like 20 turns. So yeah, I'm not worried about getting milled out. Here's our 6 mana card. Let's see if we get Demon Lorded. No Demon Lord, that's an Atali. Which is just a 6/6. It is absolutely nothing else. My opponent got a 3/4 Vigilance with no other abilities. Alright, they got a Colossal Dreadmaw. I'll see if they want to trade that for my 6/6. If not, and they attack me with it, I will probably just not block, but I might get a 7-cost creature that can block it. That can block that very well. But I'm not going to block with that guy, because he has haste. 7/7, flying, trample, haste. The rest of the text on that card is meaningless in Momir. It is a creature token, which means if it leaves the battlefield for any reason, it vanishes from existence entirely. So anything that cares about, like, when this dies, return it to the battlefield, or when this dies, return it to your hand, when this dies, exile it instead, none of that stuff happens in Momir, because they're all creature tokens. It would be kind of cool if they made it, if they made the actual cards when you paid the mana cost, but that's probably a little more difficult to program. That's the kind of thing Hearthstone would do. Hearthstone, like, if you know about creature tokens in Magic, basically when you make creature tokens in Hearthstone, oh, they didn't have a flyer. They were dead on board. I'm too busy thinking about other stuff. Whenever you make tokens in Hearthstone, they can actually be returned to your hand as, like, cards. And then they have their own mana cost and stuff to play them back again, which is really cool. And it's something that really only works for digital. So it would be really cool if Magic Arena for the Momir format did that same kind of thing where you just straight up, you get a copy of the card onto the battlefield, like it's literally the card. So if it has an effect that's like, when this dies, shuffle it into your library, or when this dies, return it to your hand, or something like that, it would be really cool if that would like actually happen. But yeah, Magic Online Momir has been doing them as tokens forever, because that's just simpler to program, I assume. Knight of Grace. First strike, hexproof from black. It's +1/+0 as long as any player controls a black permanent. It also really goes against the rules of Magic. But who cares about that? It's Momir. It's already going against the rules of Magic hardcore. And there are things that let you get cards from outside of the game, you know, like Living Wish and stuff, where you're grabbing stuff from your sideboard. So I don't see why it would be such a big deal. The only problem I could really see would be just on a programming front. It's probably more difficult than it's worth, because Momir is not the most popular format. So we are on par right now. We both have a mana ramp creature. These are creatures that give us an additional mana. So now we are both going immediately into 5 mana cards next turn. So I didn't attack because they could just block with their 1/1 and then make their 2/2 a 3/3, and then my Knight of Grace can't really attack anymore anyway. Now I want this to die even less, because their creature adds mana equal to its power. So if it gets a counter on it, it will add 2 mana, and then they're playing even bigger cards, which is extra scary. Man, I hate how this works online. You can't click to pay the mana until you've used that guy's ability. It doesn't let you use his ability in the middle of paying mana. Alright. I guess it's because your opponent can, like, technically respond to the ability by, like, destroying the land or something like that, and they only let you use abilities that can't be responded to there. I will go ahead and send in my first strike guy now that the 1/1 is tapped. So yeah, what's probably going to happen here is they'll just stop attacking with that 1/1, and now I can't really attack at them without giving them another mana, which I do not really want to do. They got a 3/4 that doesn't have any relevant abilities, so that is nice for me. My 5 mana card was a lot better than theirs, so I am happy about that. Let's get our 6 mana card. Let's actually keep the mountain. I can give something vigilance till end of turn, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to attack. Actually, my board is a lot better than theirs. The problem is, if I attack with my 4/4, they literally just block with the 1/1, so that doesn't really accomplish much of anything. I feel like I don't really want to attack unless I'm, like, actually accomplishing a lot here, because the benefits to my opponent just seem like more than the benefits to me right now. Oh boy, that is a problem. 5/5 Flying Angel with Mentor, and when it dies, put a counter on all of your white creatures. Let's go to 7 mana. We're hoping to get something terrifying of our own. Basically something that is either incredibly massive or is evasive. Something that's flying like that. Or unblockable. Very nice! We got the Angler Turtle. Creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, so you can make your opponent make really bad attacks and then just eat their whole field with your field. I'm very happy with that card. This was a really good situation for the turtle. The first time I ever got that card in Momir was the first time I'd ever seen the card. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Alright. So, the problem now is that my opponent got really, really lucky on their 7-drop, and it might just die anyway. Do I have 18 damage on the board right now? If I don't have 18 damage on the board right now, I think I lose. So I have 10, 15, 18, 19, 20. I've got 20 damage. They have 12 coming at me plus 4, that's 16, 17, 18, 19. I have to stop. Okay, so I can just kill them. I just have to make sure none of my creatures die in blocks. So let's do the first strike guy there and the 5/7 there. Alright, very nice. All I had to do was survive that attack now that I actually did the math. I was really scared about the Darugaz. Darugaz is a really good card, and if I couldn't kill them right now, I would be really dead, because they have 14 damage of flyers out. Luckily, I managed to survive the attack, so I get to put them to -2. Very close game. Very good game. We both got a mana ramper. Things started going crazy. Alright. That is 3 wins down, 0 losses. Let's head into the 4th round. I will drop down a mountain and pass the turn. If you're feeling lucky, you can go for 1-drops. That is not a completely unviable strategy. You can get a Llanowar Elves. You can get a Goblin Motivator. There are some cards that are really good in Momir that cost 1 mana, but most of them are just not going to affect the game for a long time at all. So I got the Merfolked Mistbinder. Most likely that is just a 2/2, but that is fine. That's about on par with what you expect at 2 mana. It is possible that I get a Merfolk. My opponent got a Merfolk. I will go ahead and use my ability first. If I don't get a Merfolk right now, I don't think I'm going to wait around for one to get more value out of this creature. I'll just go ahead and attack, get on the aggressive. Oh, that worked out so well. That worked out beautifully well. So I got the guy that becomes a copy of an attacking creature, so now they buff each other when he copies my Merfolked Mistbinder. Why can't I just say Merfolk? I think that's twice now I said Merfolked instead. That's a weird accent thing. I try not to have an accent, but I know I probably do. I've just got all kinds of little weird things that I say stupidly. They got a Sailor of Means. That is a very, very nice 3-drop. I could see them not attacking here. That way they can double block and trade their 2/2 for my guy. It looks like they don't want to do that. I think either play there is fine. They chose to swing back. Let's see what I get at 4 mana here. So yeah, their 1/4 was a very good 3-drop. It gave them a treasure, so now next turn they get to play a 5 mana card. So even though they went second, they get to play a 5 mana card before I do, which is actually pretty good. They are quite on the defensive here, though. They're going down to 11 now. We've almost got them to half health. Just off the good start with the Mistbinder into the clone attacker. My 4-drop's pretty good. It's an Undercity Necrolisc. I can pay 1 mana, sacrifice another creature to put a counter on it, and give it Menace until end of turn. Menace means it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So any kind of evasion, even just Menace, is really good in Momir. Menace is probably the weakest form of evasion in Momir, since everybody has so many creatures, since that's all you're playing every turn. Opponent got a pretty nice 5-drop. That's certainly not what they need right now. There are a lot better cards they could have gotten, but making their 2/1 a flyer is would usually be really good. It's actually not that effective right now since they're just dying. But flying creatures, as we've said before and as we've seen, are very good in Momir. So I got that guy. Oh yeah, this is going to go really well. This is going to go really well. When it attacks... Okay, so I could be a Barging Sergeant, but I won't get to Mentor another thing off that. Oh, the Mentor trigger goes on before the Skin Shifter trigger? That's really nice. That might even come in relevant later. Alright, so if I were my opponent, I would block the real Mistbinder. Actually, I'm not sure. I would definitely block the 4/2 with the 2/1. And then one of the 3/3s with the 1/4 and one of the 3/3s with a 3/3. I think the biggest question here is whether it's better to kill the Necrolisc or the Mistbinder. They're both pretty good. It's probably better to kill the Necrolisc, because the only reason that the Mistbinder is any good is because I have this clone guy, which this clone guy might just start cloning bigger things like this 4/2. Now whenever I clone that, this will be a 5/3. So yeah, if I were my opponent, I would block the 4-2 with the 2-1. I would block their 3-3 with their 3-3, and it looks like my opponent just gives up. Which is also fair, but it's Momir. You never know what could happen. You could get a really good 5-drop. It might be worth playing out. But that worked out well for me. We are 4 wins in. We are going into the final games here. The last 1 or 2 games, hopefully just 1 game. Hopefully this is the 5-0 perfect run. That would be awesome. We'll have to see. Definitely liking my luck so far. Did my avatar just change? Has my avatar been... Oh my god. Has my avatar been changing this whole time without me knowing? What is happening? Is that a new thing that they put in for Momir? Because if so, that's really cool. If Momir also gives you a random avatar now, that's like super neat. I've got 3 swamps here. I don't think I need that many. I have no idea what's going on with my avatar, and I'm very interested. I can't believe I didn't notice that till now, because I know I started as Nissa, and then in the thing it showed a Johnny, and then now in the game it's showing Liliana. At the start of today, yeah, I thought I switched back to Karn before today. I'm so confused. So I've gotten a pretty good start. My 2-mana 2-1 doesn't do anything. But the fact that I got to hit them for 2 with it once is nice. My 3-mana card, however, is very, very good. It is the ultimate blocker. I have no idea what's going on with the avatars. I'm so distracted by that. Ooh, that is a Shalai. That's really good. So me and all of my other creatures have hexproof, which is super relevant. If they manage to get any kind of ability that would kill one of my little creatures, like something that does 2 damage or something like that, they just can't do it. They have to get one of those abilities that'll kill like any creature, like a Chupacabra or a Meteor Golem or something like that to kill the Shalai. It is also flying, and for 6 I can put a counter on all my creatures. That's so good. I might do that next turn. Actually, I'll probably do that next turn. Instead of playing a 6-drop, I'll just buff my whole field. That way it's a 4/5, so I can get around their 2/4 flyer, and my other flyer will be a 4/4 to get around it. This is a really, really good start. I cannot wait to pump my whole field next turn. Please don't get a removal creature. Or at least not just yet. Oh, they didn't get a removal creature. Alright, things are about to go real bad for my opponent. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Shalai is nuts in Momir. That's sick. I think that's the first time me or an opponent has gotten Shalai in Momir. Okay, so they did chump block. I was not sure. I wasn't paying 100% attention. My opponent got a really good card. It's a 7/7 flying. And if I get something that would happen to kill it, if they still have a card in their hand, they can just discard a card. That was a very bad attack from my opponent. I can actually just trade a 3/2 for their Colossal Dreadmaw. Or if I didn't want to lose a creature here, I could literally just block their 3/3 and none of my creatures would die. It seems like nobody reads this guy's ability, which makes it even better. So I could use Shalai again. I think I'll actually just play a 7-mana card here. I have enough flying to block their 7/7, and it's going to take a while to be able to attack them back. Even if I'm pumping, I have to pump 3 more times to be able to kill that guy. So let's just get a bigger creature like this Nezahal here that I can start attacking with. And that is what I will do if they don't get something larger than it. Nezahal and Momir is just a 7/7, no abilities really. They got a Polyraptor, so that's a problem. I can't just start swinging with the Nezahal because then they'll just be able to endlessly block with the Polyraptor. So they have 3 mountains, and they're going to be at 9 mana next turn, so they're going to start trying to get a Zacama. So I have to hope that they don't get it immediately. If they get it immediately, I'm pretty screwed. So here's my 3rd mountain for Zacama. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could play an 8-drop, or I can pump my field. Kind of want to pump my field. Problem is, once they get Zacama, Zacama is, for 3 mana, they can put... they can deal 3 damage to any creature, or they can destroy an artifact, or they can gain 3 life. So hopefully I can just pump my field enough so that even if they get a Zacama eventually, they don't have enough mana to kill anything with it. So yeah, Zacama, if you have 3 mountains, can do 9 damage a turn. Of fucking course. I hate it. I've never gotten a Zacama as my first 9-drop. I always get like 5 other things before the Zacama. Is this going to be Zacama into I win lol? My only hope here is if I get a Zacama right now. If I get a Zacama right now, my Zacama will have hexproof, and then I can shoot their Zacama. Because they have to shoot my Shalai before anything else. Can I just one time, please? Please. Just, it never happens, man. It never happens. Well, I think I lose this game. Because now it doesn't matter if I get Zacama. If I get Zacama, they just spend 9 mana, stop my Zacama. Pretty simple. They also are really lucky. I got really lucky too, but they got the combo. They got a Polyraptor while they have Zacama. Polyraptor, whenever it's dealt damage, they make another raptor. It's a really irritating combo. So they can literally just spend a red and 2 and make another 5/5. And they can do it as many times as they want. Because they do 3 damage to their Polyraptor, they make a token 5/5 that hasn't taken any damage, they do 3 damage to that one, and then they make a fresh one that hasn't taken any damage, and then they do 3 damage to that one, and so on. So, if my opponent figures that out, then I have no way of winning this. But it doesn't look like that they figured it out immediately. They might have figured it out by now. But I assume that they didn't figure it out immediately because they just played a random 3-drop instead of a 5/5 Polyraptor, which would have been the best play. Sending in the flyer. I'm going to go to 2 life here. There is absolutely nothing I can do because Zacama sucks. Like... My only hope would be, like, I guess I should be going for 7 or 4, trying to get something that kills it when it enters the battlefield. Because I need to get something that kills it when it enters the battlefield, and then I need to get a Zacama before they get a Zacama. Like, I have to reset the Zacama match. So I have 2 turns to attempt to get something to destroy it, and at 4 mana, there are a lot more 4 mana cards than 7 mana cards, but there is Ravenous Chupacabra, there's the Binding Vampire, there's... So that's 2 that'll kill anything. There's Hostage Taker, that'll kill anything. There's 3 I can think of at 4 mana that will kill something when it enters the battlefield. At 7 mana, there's Meteor Golem. But there's a lot less 7 mana cards, so I don't know which has a higher chance of getting something to kill a creature. Is it 7 mana because there's less 7 mana cards, or is it 4 mana because there's 3 different ones in the gigantic pile of 4 mana cards that kill something? I guess I'll go for 7 mana because even if I don't get something that kills it immediately, the other options, like it's possible I get something that helps me live in another way. So I'll go for 7. Like, Kazarov's not one of those, though, because Zakama just gets to shoot that for 6 right away. Right away. That is... The best play is just shoot Kazarov immediately. Looks like they're going to kill the Windstrider instead. That works too, actually, because I don't have anything else to block the 7/7 flyer, so like I have to block there. And they have 6 creatures, and I only have 5, so I'm just dead, actually. That's rough. That is what Zakama will do. So, like, the Momir format isn't as bad as it used to be, but Zakama still really is tremendously overpowered and irritating to play against. But when you get the Zakama, it's nice. It's nice when you are playing with a Zakama. But it does not feel good when your opponent is. Alright. On to the final game. Win or lose, this is the final game. I'm Nissa again, it looks like. And now I'm Liliana. What is happening? Alright. The avatars are still being confusing. Not sure what's going on. So, opponent is on the play, so they get to start throwing out some cards first. So, let's see if they want to play a 2-drop or not. So I think looking back on last game, since I got Shalai at 4, well, I can't use her ability until I'm at 6. She starts at 4 toughness, so if turn 6 I pumped, then she has 5 toughness, turn 7, 6 toughness, turn 8, 7 toughness, turn 9, 9 toughness. I could not have pumped her fast enough to have her be at 10 toughness before Zakama got out. So I was just trying to think if that would have been a better plan. That way she's Zakama proof, but I could literally, they got Zakama fast enough that it was impossible to make her Zakama proof in time. So that sucks. So I got a 2/2. My opponent just timed out. I don't know if something is... Maybe something's going on with the servers today, because my round 1 opponent seemed to just time out. But I thought maybe they just rage quit because I got really lucky on some super aggressive cards. But now it's happening again, and I'm not sure. Because my opponent didn't get to play their land and do their turn last turn. So... This is kind of a lame way to win. Even if my opponent comes back right now, odds are that I'll win because they lost a turn. They just spent a turn doing nothing because program issues or internet issues or life issues. I don't know what's going on with my opponent. I mean, it's looking like this might be a 5-1, but it's kind of a lame way to get a 5-1. That is my opponent's second, and it looks like they're out of here. Got kicked out for being idle. Well, we did it. We got the 5-1. Not the coolest way to do it, but I'll take it. Let's see if we get anything cool. We did get a rare. Let's see what it is before we head off. It's a Sword Point Diplomacy. I am not a very big fan of that card. It is not used in any popular, competitively viable standard decks, but people are trying to make this weird black-red aggro deck that is basically all about cards like this. Like, it runs Sword Point Diplomacy and it runs Risk Factor, which is the other card like this that's like your opponent takes 4 or they let you draw 3 cards. So it's a very similar kind of effect. So people are trying to build around putting those 2 cards into the same kind of deck for just a really Punisher type strategy, but not really a fan of that kind of strategy or this kind of card. So thank you everybody for watching. That was a 5-1 Momir event. I will see you all next time for hopefully another 5-win Momir event. See ya. As soon as I find that, there's the button. Goodbye.